in the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Monday, the 27th day of May 2019. I trust that everyone had an enjoyable weekend and that you are all ready to go today. For those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, as usual, we urge you to be extremely careful. If you're a pedestrian, if you're a cyclist, if you're operating a motorcycle or any other type of motorized vehicle on the road, we urge you to be extremely cautious, observe the rules of the road, and remember that the life you save may be your own. As rain is forecast, I believe there is a 60% chance of rain today, so you want to be even more careful on the roads, driving in inclement conditions. So again, we urge you to be extremely, extremely careful. I want to thank you, our listening and viewing audience, for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether you're working in an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and the management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. Our phone lines are always open. There is always someone there waiting to take your calls. This morning, it is the voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akal. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, email us like many people do. Email us at For the Record. That is one word, For the Record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us on 925-3261, where we encourage you to send us a text message or leave us a voice note. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Now, today, we also would like to extend here in Radio Cayman condolences to all of those, any families who have lost loved ones during the course of the last few days or few weeks as well, and our prayers go out to you. We have some birthday greetings this morning, and we're going to announce those right now, and we want to encourage you to send us names of people who are celebrating birthdays so that we can announce it. We take this little portion of the show to do that as well. We don't necessarily always want to talk about politics or social issues, but we want people to be in a feel-good mode as well. And sometimes it's nice to hear your name announced on the radio or a family member's name announced on the radio, especially when it is saying something good about them, and it's in a good context rather than in a negative context as well. So let's start with birthday number one, Miss Elsie Amore, and she works with the planning department, and she is celebrating birthday today. And also to add to that birthday today for Miss Elsie Amore, she also wants to send congratulations to her daughter, Alanis Linwood Amore. She graduated from Imperial University in the United Kingdom, and she's now working with the Ministry of Health. So congratulations to Miss Alanis Linwood Amore, who graduated from Imperial University in the United Kingdom, now working with the Ministry of Health. And we have to wish belated happy birthday to our good friend, Mr. Alfredo McLean. Many of you know him. Some of you keep in contact with him still. Some of you keep in contact with him to get fish. He used to be an avid fisherman as well, and still has his contacts out on the waterfront and elsewhere when it comes to seafood. And Alfredo celebrated his 82nd birthday on the 26th of May. So big happy birthday to Fredo. He plays dominoes with us down in Rockhole, so we will be having a vibrant celebration for Fredo this week as well. 82 years old, and he is still trucking. Likes to give us 6 loves, and he's a tough domino player. So Fredo, enjoy your day as well. We have some more shout-outs for some people who work within government departments as well. But I'm going to do those shout-outs a little bit later around about after the 8 o'clock news, because they will be listening in at that point in time. And the reason is that they worked on the weekend. They worked on Saturday. A very dedicated crew working. I won't give away any more than that at this point in time. But we're going to give a big shout-out to them this morning. They work on weekends, and they work at a place which used to be the best-kept secret in the Cayman Islands for a department that is open on Saturdays, but it is no longer the best-kept secret because it is turning out to be a very busy venue on the weekends for people who are busy working during the week and unable to take care of their business. Just to give you a preview of what will be happening on For the Record this morning, we expect to have in the studio with us the people from Celebrate Cayman, probably Mr. Alfonso, and we'll be talking about the 60 days of service, and then that will be from 8 o'clock until 9 or 8:15 after the news, 8:10, 8:15. And then we also will have people from the planning department here talking about Building Safety Month as well. So we will have lots to discuss. Meanwhile, what we're going to have is we're going to have our open line segment between now and 8 o'clock. And I will start by, I had to decide which article I wanted to use this morning. I found an article in the Old Trade Winds newspaper of 1966, and it is actually, that publication was actually the 27th of May, 1966, which I thought would have been appropriate to read some portions of that. But I also found one dated publication of the 29th of May, Monday the 29th of May, 1967. And that one, I may have read portions of that newspaper article, publication before, and it was Education Week starting on the 29th or during the 29th of May. And one of the headlines in the newspaper was Parents Warned Over Attitudes to Children, and the question was whether or not government was wasting money on unruly children. And we know that government shouldn't be choosing winners and losers when it comes to education. And we see a completely different attitude towards education in the Cayman Islands now, where efforts are being made to accommodate all, whether or not you're challenged otherwise, physically or otherwise, that accommodations are being made to ensure that every child has access to education, and that is commendable. So, in that newspaper publication of the Monday, the 29th of May, 1967, we have a photograph that was taken by Mr. Gilbert McLaughlin, and it features the science department of the secondary modern school. And it says that the science department of secondary modern school attracted the largest group of spectators. And it shows in the picture Mr. Howard Gerzung, a student, and Mr. Joseph Anderson, his teacher. Mr. Anderson, still prominent in the Cayman Islands, more now in the real estate and building industry. And the article goes on to point out that Howard, who has been studying electricity and theory in that part is blocked out. Something about magnetism, made an electric bell which he connected to a step-down transformer. His wiring diagrams is also shown in the picture. So Howard at that time was an aspiring electrician, and that was one article there in relation to Education Week. And then, of course, some of the highlights of the Education Week. Another article goes on to talk about, amongst the highlights of the week was the display of arts and crafts, needlework, teaching aids, scientific equipment, and experiments. There were also 2 special displays of books and school equipment put on by the Byrite Supermarket. The other displays of books in the teaching library put out by the Department of Education for the Institute of Education of the University of the West Indies. And then judging from responses of the public and their general comments, the display can be said to have been a wonderful success, and it is felt the aim of bringing the public closer to the schools was achieved. The displays of each school was judged by a panel selected by the association. The schools were judged in 2 groups, primary and secondary. Cups for the winning schools were donated by the Cayman Teachers Association in collaboration with the Gleaner Company. So the Gleaner Company of Jamaica was involved as well. At the time of writing, the results had not yet been decided. Amongst the items displayed, the first school laid emphasis on native crafts and rope making. Savannah caught the eye of for their furniture made from chick sticks and plywood. It talks about Truth for You School put on a good and varied display, the highlight of which was a bridal cake made by 12-year-old Faith Wallace under her mother's supervision. Georgetown junior display needlework and pom-pom weaving, and West Bay excellent skirts and rugs. North Side and East End both showed fine craftsmanship in straw work. The prep school had a very good display of needlework, drawings, shell work. Bordentown, too, had a very good display highlighted by 2 beautiful rugs. Outstanding amongst the secondary school exhibits was a display of science experiments by the secondary school. I think I've reached that point where we have to go to a break, but let me just finish this very quickly. We don't want to leave out any schools. Triple C did well in their social studies display. The secondary grammar school had an art display which created much interest. Time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly talking about Education Week in 1967 here in the Cayman Islands.
The Cayman Islands, of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Before the prevalence of modern medicine, Cayman bush teas were regularly boiled to alleviate complaints and ailments. Some common bush teas included aloe for stomach ulcers and cuts, guava for diabetes and swollen tonsils, verivine for cooling and purifying the blood, leaf of life for colds and sore throats, cerci as a laxative and to relieve itching, headache bush for the killing of blood bacteria and toothaches, white periwinkle for lowering high blood pressure, mint for morning sickness during pregnancy, fever grass for fevers and cold, castor bean to make castor oil, or simply birch tree, which was drunk with a little sweet milk because it was delicious. Information from this historical vignette was sourced courtesy of Mr. Alvin McLaughlin, The History of Agriculture, 50th Annual Agriculture Show magazine. Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
When you need stability, think Business of the Year.
Considering a new career opportunity, think Best Place to Work.
When dependability matters, think Outstanding Workforce.
In need of a reliable financial partner? Think Bank of the Year.
When you seek excellence, think Cayman National.
No matter how many accomplishments we achieve, we always set the bar higher. That's why we are the most awarded bank in Cayman, and we are proud to be your
2018 Bank of the Year.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
They say cleaning your house never killed anyone, but why take chances? Spend your time doing what you love and leave the rest to Roper's Janitorial. Complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential with 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Take back your life and get the job done right the first time. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Why my wife always asking if I'm in a rush when she's the one always making us late?
Might as well say, yeah, I'm in a rush and go buy the new Toyota Rush you've been talking about. Cause they on sale this month. Dial teacher.
The super special spring SUV sale at Vant Motors. Save up to $4,400 with SUVs starting at only $23,500, like the 7-seater Toyota Rush. Save money, get cash back, or use the discount to upgrade features on the SUV of your choice, including the Toyota RAV4, the Fortuner, the Rush, or the Ford EcoSport. It's our super special spring SUV sale. Only at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have an open line until 8 o'clock, but we're going to close the phone lines off now so that I can complete sharing with you the Tradewinds articles from Tradewinds publication of the 29th of May, 1967. Education Week was being celebrated, and we spoke to you, shared with you earlier about the technology exhibition. Mr. Howard Gerzung, who had been studying electricity and the theory of magnetism, and that he made an electric bell, which and he showed his wiring diagram. So from those days, Mr. Howard Gerzung was interested in electricity and magnetism. And this is supposed to be a joke. It may not come off well, but it looks like his interest in magnetism, the magnetism worked well because he was able to attract a beautiful wife who is now Mrs. Karen Gerzung. So that magnetism from his young days played off later in his adult life, and he attracted Mrs. Karen Gerzung, who is now his wife. Education Week in Pictures. There's an article and a photograph, and it says, "Seen here demonstrating the dissection of a frog to an interested group of spectators is Glenn O. McLean of Secondary Modern School." So Secondary Modern School, very popular those days and produced some excellent students. And then there's another one in relation to spelling bee. And in the photograph, we had Mr. L.G. Hill. We knew him as Mr. George Hill. He was the champion's tutor for spelling bee. And in the picture, we have Mr. Leonard Jones, known as Leonard Jones from Bordentown. Then in the photograph, you also had Mr. Clifton Hunter, who was the spelling master. And then there was Julian Foster from Sport Bay School, and Mrs. Lavorne Ryan, I would believe that would be L. Ryan. Then we have Larry Tibbetts, tutor. And in the front row, we had Barbara Ryan, champion speller from Secondary Grammar, Lara Tibbetts from the Creek, Jimmy Ford Borden, Secondary Modern, and Pamela Connolly from the creek as well, and they were all the spelling champions during Education Week as well. What else do we have in terms of Education Week? Bursary awarded for Savannah teacher. And this article talks about Miss Carolyn Hislop, head teacher of the Savannah Primary School, has been awarded a bursary by the British government to do a one-year course in art and craft at Breton Hall Training College in the West Riding of Yorkshire, England. Miss Hislop, a Caymanian, is a graduate of Monique Teachers Training College, Jamaica, and has been head teacher of the Savannah Primary School since 1963. She leaves the island to take up her award during the summer holidays as well. And what else? Examination for secondary modern school. A school leaving examination for the secondary modern school is to be held this year for the first time. So the first time that we had a school leaving examination, 1967. And it says Moray House College of Education has agreed to conduct the examination, which is being held to mark the successful completion of the school's 3-year course, and will be recognized as a qualifying examination for entry into commercial and business fields in the island. The examination for this year's school leavers will take place during the first week of July. So we had a leaving examination, which, if successful, would have qualified those students for entry into commercial and business fields in the island. Didn't say much about moving on to tertiary education, and we know that in those days, those persons who moved up in tertiary education and who received the government scholarships were well connected, either politically or well connected because they had relatives working within government. That has changed considerably, and we now see the government offering scholarships, many more scholarships, as well as the private sector. What else do we have in that publication? Seminar on primary school curriculum and syllabus. With the approval of the Board of Education, the Education Department has arranged a one-day seminar to revise and bring up to date the curriculum and syllabus of instruction in use in primary schools of the Cayman Islands. Principals, head teachers, and 3 members nominated by the Board of Education will meet at the Town Hall at 9:30 a.m. on Thursday the 25th instant to take part in this study. When the group has completed the preliminary work, it is expected that the new syllabus will be compiled and printed and made available for all primary school in the form of booklets. And then we have something on the teacher's library. As a service to the Cayman Islands, the University of the West Indies has provided our local education department with the nucleus of a teacher's library. Books supplied are up-to-date publications and include titles such as Common Sense in Primary Schools by J.C. Gagg, School Methods with Younger Children by M. Grant and Elsa Walters, and Teaching of Social Studies in Secondary Schools. Books are now on display at the Town Hall and after education loans from education office teachers in the Cayman Islands. So we got a book. Advisory Committee. This should be interested. Hope I have enough time to. Not enough time to read this on the Advisory Committee, but we will have time to share it with you at another time. Folks, we've reached that top of the hour for our 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately afterwards, and we should have our guests in the studio talking about Celebrate Cayman 60 Days of Service. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman time check is now 8 a.m. This time check is brought to you by our friends at Price Right. Live better for less.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Let's spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Access. Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Police are investigating a weekend robbery. Royal Cayman Islands police officers were called to a report of a robbery of a food truck on Crew Road near the Grand Harbor roundabout at about 1 a.m. on Saturday morning. Police say a suspect armed with a machete busted into the truck and demanded cash from the workers inside. He then took off on a bicycle towards Tropical Gardens. In other police news, a man is arrested after forcing John Gray High School into lockdown mode. On Friday, the Ministry of Education says a staff member spotted a strange man hopping the fence by Dolphin Academy and immediately alerted school administrators. The call was made for the campus to be put on lockdown while police were notified. They arrived minutes later and determined that the suspect was no longer on campus. Students and staff then, quote, transitioned to their final lessons without any delay or disruption to learning. The principal of the school says he was pleased with the response of staff, security teams, and the RCIPS in securing the safety of all who were on site. The suspect in the incident was arrested by police on suspicion of assault causing actual bodily harm near an address off Walker's Road. RCIPS says they were chasing him when he jumped the John Gray High School fence in relation to an assault that had happened shortly after 1 p.m. near Olympic Way. A woman had been assaulted by a man she knew and had received minor scrapes and lacerations, reported to have been caused by a knife. In regional news, on Sunday, a popular Metro Atlanta festival was shut down a few hours earlier than scheduled by the Atlanta Police Department. A spokesperson told Channel 2 Action News that the Atlanta Caribbean Carnival's permit required at least 10 off-duty officers for the annual event, but because organizers couldn't pay for the security, that meant a violation of the contract. So performers, vendors, and visitors found the festival in Central Park closing by 5 p.m. instead of later in the night. Organizers disputed the allegation. One of them said she was prepared to pay the off-duty officers, but payment was refused unless it was cash. A separate festival was also held this weekend, the Atlanta DeKalb Caribbean Carnival in Stonecrest. The first Caribbean Carnival in Atlanta was held in 1988 after a group representing several Caribbean islands came together in Metro Atlanta. Since then, people have flocked to Atlanta on Memorial Day weekend for West Indian-style carnivals to celebrate their culture. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC who will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with David Austin. European voters have stripped the traditional centre-left and centre-right blocs of the overall majority they've always enjoyed in the European Parliament. Populist and nationalist parties fared well in Italy, France and Britain. The Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe says he secured the support of President Trump for his wish for a face-to-face meeting with the leader of North Korea. Speaking at a joint news conference, Mr. Abe said such a meeting was the only way to resolve the issue of Japanese people abducted by Pyongyang. President Trump has said he doesn't seek regime change in Iran, despite escalating tension between Washington and Tehran. Mr. Trump said he wanted an Iran with no nuclear weapons and that there was a possibility of the two countries reaching a deal. China has expressed anger after it emerged that America's most senior security official held a meeting earlier this month with his Taiwanese counterpart for the first time since the US and Taiwan ended formal diplomatic ties 40 years ago. Washington has recently expressed concern about Beijing's recent military maneuvers in the Taiwan Strait. The French and Italian governments have welcomed plans by the French car manufacturer Renault and its Italian-American rival Fiat Chrysler to merge. It would create the world's third-largest car maker. French police have arrested 2 men suspected of planting a bomb in a paper bag in the eastern city of Lyon last Friday, injuring 13 people. Wildlife officials in Malaysia say the country's last male Sumatran rhinoceros has died. Tam, thought to be in his 30s, was living in captivity on the island of Borneo. His death means that Malaysia now has only one sole surviving Sumatran rhino, a female called Iman. BBC News.
Access information. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you.
This week at Kirk Home Center, get your green thumb going with 8-inch square planter pots starting at $9.49. And keep plants blooming with a half-gallon watering can for $4.69. And grass growing with an 8-pattern sprinkler for $9.99. Rice perfect every time with a 16-cup rice cooker from Black & Decker for $34.99. And save on 12-volt cordless drills from Bosch for $259.99.
Kirk's Home Center. We got a great deal in store for you.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky. New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it. Drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your latest weather, all courtesy of our friends at Super Stitch. Present temperature 79 degrees Fahrenheit. It's partly sunny on the outside. Relative humidity 94%. Winds are out of the northeast at 9 knots. Barometric pressure is at 29.91 and holding. Synopsis: cloudiness and showers along with light to moderate easterly winds and seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as an upper level low lingers over the Western Caribbean. Radar images show scattered showers in and around the Cayman area, which are moving towards the west. So the forecast for today: partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and some thunder. Showers may become locally heavy at times. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s. Winds will be east to northeast, 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts in and around heavy showers. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Later this evening, cloudy skies with a 60% chance of showers and some thunder. Showers may become locally heavy at times. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be east to southeast, 5 to 10 knots with higher gusts in and around heavy showers. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Low tide is coming up at 11:35 this morning. It's going to be high at 6:03 this evening and low at 11:48 tonight. For tomorrow, high tide is at 5:49 a.m., low at 12:10 a.m., high at 6:43 p.m. Sunset this evening is at 6:56. Sunrise for tomorrow at 5:48. And the outlook is for similar weather conditions through Wednesday morning as the upper level low lingers over the Western Caribbean. That's your latest weather report.
Superstitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Superstitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky. New stock has just arrived at Superstitch. Now don't take my word for it. Drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Superstitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Superstitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Have you just completed a weekend cleanup project? Do you plan to dispose of old appliances, electronics, or even hazardous waste? Dispose of these items at the 24-hour drop-off site located at the entrance of the Georgetown landfill. This site is open to the public daily for your convenience. Do your part. Keep Cayman clean. For more tips on proper waste handling, visit the DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your traffic report, or how our traffic conditions are. Looking at Crew Road, we got a steady flow of traffic heading along onto Smith Road, and of course, heading on to Shedden Road. Traffic is slow along that way as well. Along Huldah Avenue, things are moving along quite good. Traffic in those directions. North Sound Road along onto Godfrey Nixon Way up to Estate Tibbetts Highway. Movement is quite good. Of course, heading east, Linford Pearson Highway is backed up, as well as Crew Road. Coming off of Shamrock Road, yeah, you're going to be a little bit frustrated with the slow movement of traffic on that area, but of course, you'll make it into Georgetown safely. For the Record is coming back up.
Men, we need your help. We can't do it without you. Right now, here in Cayman, boys are struggling. They need a friend, someone to mentor and guide them. They need you. More than money, they need your time. Just 1 hour a week is all it takes. Big brothers and big sisters need men who are willing to help our boys between the ages of 6 and 16. Please join us for an information session on June 3rd or 17th at 12:30, 4 or 5:30 p.m. For more information, email info@bbbs.ky or call Tracy Ann Taylor on 326-0610. Men, we need you.
Hi, I'm Dawn McLean Brady, President of the Cayman Islands Small Business Association, better known as CISPA. Small businesses drive Cayman's economy. As small business owners, we depend on government to create an environment where we, as entrepreneurs, can do what we do best, and that's to provide products and services that are valuable to our customers and, in turn, employ others. The cruise piers and cargo ports provide these opportunities. Encourage our government to build a port and let the Caymanian entrepreneurial spirit shine. Support the port, support our tourism.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before I go to my guest, I just want to point out that I've received a few more WhatsApp messages in relation to birthdays, and we want to extend birthday to Mr. Mark Orr of the Department of who's an officer with the Department of Environment He's celebrating a birthday today. Also, Mr. Gaston Maloney. Cayman Economic Car is celebrating a birthday today as well. So to Mr. Mark Orr and Mr. Gaston Maloney, big happy birthday to both of you. Enjoy it to the fullest. Folks, it is my pleasure now to introduce in the studio this morning, no stranger to the studio, the chair of Celebrate Cayman, Mr. Alfonso Wright. And this morning we're going to be talking about Celebrate Cayman 60 Acts of Service. Mr. Alfonso, Mr. Wright, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record. It's been quite a while, but I know you've been working hard. So,
good morning, OC, and morning those listening and watching. Yeah, happy to be here. 60 Acts of Service is our wrap-up event for the Coat of Arms celebration. You know, we've been going now since May of last year with the celebrations, and this is, like I say, our wrap-up event. And it's an idea that has been put forward by our Deputy Executive Chair, Marzita Bodden, and it is it's a wonderful opportunity for the whole islands, all three islands, to get together and do something to either beautify, to lift up, to encourage people to do things within a community that normally you wouldn't get done by yourself. So there are a bunch of things out there. We have a toolkit that's up on the website that people can go to. It's celebratekayman.ky/60acts that people can sign up for projects. Right now, the 29th is the deadline for individuals who want to sign up to participate in projects, because how it's done, OC, people will come up with a project that they want to do within the community, register that on the website, and then individuals who would want to participate can go and look at all the projects that are there and decide which one I want to get involved in.
Okay.
So I don't think that we would turn down new projects at this stage, but we're just about past that stage now, and what we're looking for now are people who would like to participate in the events that have been established.
So Wednesday the 29th would be the deadline for them to register.
To register to participate in the projects that has already been posted.
Okay.
So 60 Acts, of course, it's 60 years our coat of arms. We're sticking with the 60s. It's been the response has been very good, OC, but it's something new in Cayman, and depending on how well it works this year, we'll decide whether or not it's something that we can we can do again, because we're beginning to plan now for the kickoff of the Constitution celebration, because we know in July of this year marks the 60th anniversary of the Cayman Islands' first Constitution. So we, of course, everything here is inspired by our coat of arms, OC, and Marzita again has gone ahead and made some connections with the different type of projects that people can do, and have those connected to parts of the coat of arms. So, for instance, a pineapple that represents public space and usage. The turtle. A project could be done for animal welfare, for instance. Thatch rope, arts and culture. The lion, health and wellness. Wave, sustainability, that includes environment and ocean. Stars, solidarity, community engagement, and of course the motto he have founded it upon the seas is religion and spirituality. So there are a lot of places here where individuals can get involved. Everybody who signs up and participates on the 2 days, we've decided to do it 2 days because some people work Saturdays and can't get involved. Some people go to church on Saturdays, and we didn't want to deprive them of that opportunity.
Exactly.
So we've done it on Saturday first and Sunday the second. June as well. So I want to encourage everybody to still take some time. The website address, again, is celebratekayman.ky/6dayacts.
Now, can we talk a little bit about the categories? Some of the you did speak about the categories.
I can
before.
do it again.
Yes. Pineapple.
Pineapple is public space usage.
Okay.
Turtle, animal welfare. Thatch rope, arts and culture. Lion, health and wellness.
Right.
Waves, sustainability. That includes our land environment and the ocean. Stars is solidarity, community engagement. And the motto is religion and spirituality.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about the principles of the project as well?
Well, what we're trying to do is to bring people together. To you may live in a I know this happens to a lot of people. You may live in a neighborhood or subdivision, and you're busy with your life and family and stuff, and you go home and you stay in your house. You don't mingle. You don't mix with people who are in your community, and we're trying to see if maybe we can use this as a way of bonding communities. So if there is an issue within your community, whether it's a park that's not being kept properly, if it's not safe for children, if things have been broken and falling apart and so on, and you cross that every day and you see that and you said, boy, I'd love to see that fixed up, but I can't do it by myself and I don't know who to contact. So we've encouraged people to register that as a project within your community. You could make contact if you want to your community in your neighborhood, or then people from your own neighborhood could go up and on the website and see those things and decide, yes, this is right in my community, it's something that I would like to do. As well as it may be something of national importance, that there may be a monument or something somewhere that's not being maintained properly, but it could be in Georgetown, but people from West Bay know that there are a certain amount of meaning to that project for West Bayers, and could decide that I want to come in and help with this. This means a lot to me, and I want to help revive this, beautify it, get it ready for proper viewing.
Now, and if we stay on that topic for a moment, we see that community policing is taking up a huge role. It's playing a huge role now in our communities. For instance, in my area, we have something called Beat 4 watch groups, and the community policing officers make contact with all of the various groups that they have established within the district. Now, that to me, that would be something to link up with the beat officers. They could use their chat groups to inform people of this, because we're seeing more and more people having an interest in the communities in which they live, especially those who have a real vested interest in their communities. They have property, have family living in those communities, more and more of an interest in it. So this, to me, is an excellent way of connecting those groups, to this 60 days as well. 60 acts. Sorry.
Yeah. There is, like I said before, there's quite a wide variety of opportunities here for people to get involved in, and it doesn't matter what type of project it is. The only thing that we don't want you to pay people to come and do the project. It shouldn't cost people to become to register to be a part of it. It should be low cost, but the main thing is togetherness, is people working together to trying to solve community problems, and it doesn't have to be clean up. For instance, it could be a new project that there are some people who are wanting to install benches along beach access and stuff like that, so for people to be able to relax and so on. We have I'll call a few of these. The DART group have registered a project that's called the Nurse Leela's House Tree Planting Project.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Nurse Leela's House Tree Planting Project. And that they are registered that on a thatch rope and culture. And the project description is: born in 1899, Nurse Leela Yates was a pioneering healthcare professional in the Cayman Islands. She walked daily from West Bay to Georgetown to train under the island's only doctor at the time, studying to become a home care nurse and then a midwife. Nurse Leela's historic home, the first on Cayman to have glass panes installed, was purchased by the National Trust for the Cayman Islands in 2006. In partnering with the National Trust West Bay Community District Committee, the DART Arboretum recently donated a number of plants for a beautification project on the site. To further assist the West Bay District Committee, it's a work to preserve this important cultural landmark. DART plans to organize a small team of volunteers to plant donated specimens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that type of event. We have the Office of the Ombudsman, who are planting silver thatch palms throughout the three islands.
Okay.
So it's those type of things that like I say, it don't have to be your usual go and clean up your community. We want people to do things that are meaningful,
significant
for the community, and we're so happy that there are a lot of companies have taken the challenge on. The Central Scranton Committee are involved too, and they're doing their usual project, and the Central Scranton Committee is excited to join Celebrate Cayman 6 Acts of Service. It gives us great pleasure to revisit the people of Georgetown Monument, which is located at the corner of Dr. Roy Drive and Shedden Road.
Mm-hmm.
We know that, and that was installed there during the quincentennial celebrations.
Right.
But not much more has happened with it since. Mm-hmm. And these are things within our community that we sort of sit back too often and expect government to do everything to install, to maintain. And I think that we need to further develop our community spirit, where we didn't wait for government in particular to do anything. So I want to applaud them for taking that on as a very good initiative to sort of lift that up again, and that people can view it and go there.
Okay. I think it would be useful if, now that you've discussed that, if we go back to the project categories, so that anyone who's listening understands exactly what it is that they need to do, because it's still not too late for them to do that, right?
No, there are people. People can still register for projects.
Right.
So just go on the website, have a look at all of the projects that have been registered, and you can decide which project you want to get involved with. CelebrateCayman.ky/60acts.
Okay. And the categories, again, we're going to repeat them for you, Mr. Fonzo.
Pineapple, public space usage; turtle, animal welfare; thatch rope, arts and culture; the lion, health and wellness; waves, sustainability, including environment and ocean; stars, solidarity, community engagement; and the motto, religion and spirituality.
Okay, excellent. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Mr. Alfonso Wright, the chairperson of Celebrate Cayman, and we're talking about Celebrate Cayman's 60 Acts of Service, 60 community projects, taking place on the weekend, 1st and 2nd of June 2019, where you're invited to join your community and also to help in transforming your country. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
How would you like to drive off in a brand new 2019 all-white Mercedes-Benz CLA 250? On Saturday, June 1st at Mango Tree, you could be that lucky person. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman presents its annual charity fundraising event, Benzarama 2019. That's right, one lucky winner will be announced at the Mango Tree on Saturday, June 1st, and that lucky winner could be you.
If you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance.
Tickets are $25 each, or 5 tickets for only $100. Proceeds from the funds raised go towards various Lions community projects. Tickets can be purchased online at eventpro.ky or stop by one of our ticket outlets, including Radio Cayman Studios, Funky Tangs, South Coast Bar, Reflections Food for Less, and West Bay Road SO, or can be purchased from any of our active Lions community members. Benzarama 2019. We are all winners once you support the Lions and our community.
They say cleaning your house never killed anyone, but why take chances? Spend your time doing what you love and leave the rest to Roper's Janitorial. Complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential with 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Take back your life and get the job done right the first time. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511.
Why my wife always asking if I'm in a rush when she's the one always making us late?
Might as well say, yeah, I'm in a rush and go buy the new Toyota Rush you've been talking about, because they on sale this month. Dial, teacher.
The super special spring SUV sale at Vant Motors. Save up to $4,400 with SUVs starting at only $23,500, like the 7-seater Toyota Rush. Save money, get cash back, or use the discount to upgrade features on the SUV of your choice, including the Toyota RAV4, the Fortuner, the Rush, or the Ford EcoSport. It's our super special spring SUV sale. Only at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, the chairperson of Celebrate Cayman, Mr. Alfonso Wright. And before I go back to the topic that we're discussing this morning, I have another shout out that I want to do. I told them that I would do it after the 8 o'clock news, and I wanted to separate this one from all of the others. It has been one of the best kept secrets in Cayman for a while, no longer a best kept secret, is the fact that there is a branch of the Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing that is located in Breakers. They are open on weekends. They're not open on Mondays. And as a result of being open on a Saturday, it is extremely convenient for people to go there who are busy during the course of the week. Now, while it is mainly for the Eastern District, we get people from all over the island going there, and there's more than one reason why they go there. I'm sure that they go there because they feel that it's going to be not going to be as busy as the other offices. Some will go simply because it is near to them, but I believe one of the reasons that they also attend that location is because of the staffing and the high level of professionalism, the courtesy that is extended to the customers there. And the customers themselves are so quiet and orderly. Everyone sits, take a number, wait their turn. So I want to give a big shout out this morning to the workers, some of the workers there, Miss Nora Ebanks, Miss Esther Moulton, and Mr. Sean Whitaker. And they work at the Department of Vehicles and Driver's Licensing, the state, the location in Breakers. Big shout out to them. Keep up the good work, and everyone who enters and exits that location, that office, always with a big smile on their face. They're not grumpy. They're not complaining about how, having to wait for any long period of time. Well satisfied. So for the HODs, heads of department, or the chief officers, somebody needs to, at some point in time, if they haven't been nominated before, nominate them for Employee of the Week, Employee of the Month, whatever. They do an excellent job. Now, many of you will say, well, they're expected to do that. That's what they're paid for. We know that a lot of people are expected to do their jobs, and that's what they're paid for, but we don't necessarily get the results that we should be getting. So big shout out again to the staff at the Breakers Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing. Now back to Mr. Funzo. We're talking about Celebrate Cayman 60 Acts of Service, 60 community projects on the weekend of June 1st and June 2nd, 2019. You're encouraged to join your community, also to help to transform your country. How can you get involved? You can get involved by registering a project. We spoke about that earlier. You can also get involved by signing up for a project, and you can also get involved by serving as a citizen journalist. So we're going to get Mr. Funzo now to tell us about service as a citizen journalist. Mr. Funzo.
Yeah, surprisingly, this is one of the areas that we've also gotten some good attention on, and it's there are people who like to take pictures, people who use their phone a lot, but there are people who buy cameras for that purpose and travel with them. So, if something spectacular happens, you kind of ready for it.
Yes.
And so we encourage people to get involved, and so you would register that as a project, but you would also visit where the projects are going on, and take photos and stuff, and give us a report. The way you saw it, sort of sending your pictures, a little bit of editorial with it to say what was going on,
yes,
and so on. And that is something that we encourage a lot of young people to get involved in, because we know how the young people are with social media and all that sort of stuff. They know how to put picture and words together much better than I do. I don't know if you're one of those people who can do that, but I'm challenged when it comes to those kind of things. So we encourage people to get involved in that as well. That's a real easy one. Just pick your project. You can go to more than one project for that matter, and help us to record the activities that are ongoing.
And once this is done, how will you then share that with your audience? The images. And
it'll be posted on the website.
Okay.
Everything will be. We have a very vibrant website. We do our best to keep it up to date, and so all of these things will be up there as well. One of the other things that we're doing right now too, OC, is shortly coming out with our second edition of the Thatch Rope Times. This is a school magazine that we have developed, and we should have the second edition that will go in print this week and should be distributed to the schools. We print enough of those to distribute to every school child in the 3 islands. Somewhere around 8,000-9,000 copies are distributed, as well as it will be inserted the week that it comes out. It's also inserted in the Cayman Times. So lots of things that are still ongoing and coming together for Celebrate Cayman. I also want to take this opportunity to advise people. I know some may already know about this, but Tuesdays and Thursdays of each week now, we will be selling a memorabilia at the Government Administration Building from 11 until 2. Again, check our website, see the things up there that we have for sale. We have things like neckties, scarves, umbrellas. We have some really nice puzzles that children would be very interested in. It would be something good to sort of embed in your child's mind what the coat of arms is. It's the puzzle of the coat of arms. And we have 2 different sizes, one with a 35 piece and another one with 200 pieces.
Okay.
And the 200 piece is really a good challenge because there are broad areas in there that are just plain white. So you can't match colors and stuff. Well, it was a challenge for me. And we also have some cups, nicely done, with the Celebrate Cayman logo on there, and umbrellas that, rainy season, hurricane season, everything is upon us here now. So grab yourself a good umbrella. See, while we're winding down, there are still a lot of things that are happening, for Celebrate Cayman. But right now the focus is on the 6 Day Acts project, and we're asking people to please get involved. We have T-shirts that will be distributed for everybody that participates. On the 8th of June, we will be having a thank you event for all those who participated. We're not just sending you out there to work. We're actually going to show our appreciation as well.
Okay, and getting back to the articles that are on sale and the dates, if you can repeat those as well. And those persons who are thinking about Christmas shopping early, it's a good way, to purchase Christmas gifts, at an early time, because we're not sure whether or not they will probably be available later on, but not as convenient as it would be for someone to pick them up.
Well, they're available until we sell out.
Right.
And but there's another real special event that's coming up before Christmas, which is Father's Day.
Yes.
And we have some tie with a beautiful coat of arms on it. The cups is something again that your father could use, and the umbrellas. Some excellent gifts ideas there, but it don't just have to be for Father's Day or Christmas. It could be somebody's birthday. It could be just a gift that you want to give a loved one, somebody that's visiting you, a friend you may have overseas that you may want to let them have a piece of this memorabilia. Also, Osi, you asked me earlier, we still have some of the Celebrate Cayman second edition, second issue of commemorative coins. And that will also be available at the same time that we're selling the paraphernalia there. It'll be in the lobby area of the Government Administration Building from 11 to 2, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So people have been asking us about this, and we finally got to put it together. Come out, support, and get your gift items.
Excellent. For the benefit of our audience, key dates for the month of May as well, starting with the 28th, which is Wednesday. That's the dateline for participation and registration.
Yeah, because we do have to get the T-shirts are something that we have to have some head some lead on, so we can make sure that we have the sizes and everything and the amounts for people. So we would like to cut that off on the 29th for participants. I won't say that you can't register after that, but there won't be a guarantee that you'll get a T-shirt. If you register after that. But let that not be the only reason that you want to register. If you come in late and you decide you still want to get involved, I'd encourage that.
Exactly. We have one caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, sir. It's good to hear you gentlemen on such a nice subject.
Good morning, and nice to hear your voice also.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you, Mr. Alfonso.
Good morning, ma'am.
It's so good to hear you. It seems like a very interesting project coming up. And I'm sure that this is something in which young or old or in between can be involved.
That's right.
I have a question. When you say the 60 acts,
yes,
would it involve things like, say, a group of young people who may want to join, or it doesn't matter what age group, but I know there's certainly in West Bay, there are areas where you will go off the main road in particular and find there are homes that need things done. It needs to be proofed up. The windows need repairing. The yards need cleaning up, and so on and so forth. Now, there's some areas. I went with a group from the Wesleyan Church recently who do twice monthly or several times monthly what's called, the soup kitchen. They go around and take food and distribute it to shut-ins as well as individuals who are, you'll find them in the corners just kind of sitting there, but they're hungry. But that's a project of itself. Now, in being involved with this, we go into some of the areas where we find that there are homes that the public does not necessarily see them every day, all day, because they're off the main road. But they're badly in need of repairs. Yards need cleaning up. But one of the things that I see that is really an eyesore is that in some of these areas, there's so many derelict cars. I think what is happening, there may be individuals who are operating a mechanical location, auto mechanic doing repairs, whatever, and all of these derelict cars are there. Are these some of the things that you would be looking at as far as the 60 acts of kindness or whatever is there? Can you enlighten me a little bit on that?
Sure, Ms. Daphne. What you just said is exactly what we're talking about. If you know of a project, you know of an individual, you know of an area that needs attention, that's what we want people to do. We do not select the projects. We want people to have initiative, to be mindful of what's going on in their communities around them, and try to tackle these as a community. That I don't have to say to you, well, there's this area in West Bay that you should go and work at. We want the communities to identify those projects and to solve the problems. We are simply initiating or encouraging the people to search for these events, for these projects, and do them on their own. Also, we don't want to tell you that you have to complete the project on Saturday or Sunday. It may be a project that will be carried on because it's too big to finish on one day or 2 days. But yeah, exactly what you said, Ms. Daphne, is what we are expecting for people to do.
Okay. Because actually, some of them, Alfonso, I was shocked. I was just plain shocked that certain individuals were living in yards that were so in need of care and attention. And, you're talking older people shut-ins, yes, they have a caregiver, but then the surrounding area, you're not expecting a caregiver to do clean up around the yard. Their main responsibility is to take care of the individual individuals within the home who are not able to care for themselves. Now, as far as derelict cars and the eyesores that we've been able, or at least I've been able to see during the past month, is that's a project that would have to entail the Department of Environment, whichever department is responsible for removing these derelict cars. I think that perhaps that's the entity that would need to be contacted about clearing these off. But if this is not looked after quickly, it will only get worse. So my intention too is to bring it to the attention of the MLAs from West Bay, not just in whose area it is. I intend to bring it to the attention of all 4 MLAs to say this must not be. This has to be looked after. You need to visit these areas and see what's happening in West Bay. So thank you very much for that clarification. And I am very interested and, very thankful that this is an initiative that is, I think a great way of commemorating the 60 years. And so thank you so much.
Thank you very much, caller.
You all have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. The conversation with the chairperson of Celebrate Cayman, Mr. Alfonso Wright, will continue after this short message.
Day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Why my wife always asking if I'm in a rush when she's the one always making us late?
Might as well say, yeah, I'm in a rush and go buy the new Toyota Rush you've been talking about, because they on sale this month. Dull, teacher.
The super special spring SUV sale at Vant Motors. Save up to $4,400 with SUVs starting at only $23,500, like the 7-seater Toyota Rush. Save money, get cash back, or use the discount to upgrade features on the SUV of your choice, including the Toyota RAV4, the Fortuner, the Rush, or the Ford EcoSport. It's our super special spring SUV sale. Only at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're discussing in the studio with the chairperson of Celebrate Cayman, Mr. Alfonso Wright. We're talking about Celebrate Cayman 60 Acts of Service, 60 community projects, weekend 1st and 2nd of June 2019, where you're encouraged and you have an opportunity to join your community to transform and also to transform your country. You can get involved in several ways: registering for a project, signing up for a project, or serving as a citizen journalist. There are dates that are connected with these particular activities, registering a project, and the cutoff date for that is the 29th of June. May, 29th of May on Wednesday. That's the cutoff date for that. You can also sign up for a project to choose the projects that have been registered and decide which one you want to be involved in. What am I doing telling you all of that? And I have Mr. Fonzo right in front of me who knows all of the details.
You're doing a good job with it, OC, and thank you very much. You know, I want to say that, you know, this initiative, of course, it's the first time we're doing this here in Cayman, but if you did visit the website, you would see that we had 101 suggestions for projects on there that, because we try to help people as much as we possibly could, you know, to give them ideas as to what to do. One of the things that I want to emphasize is that I want people to remember that this is inspired by the coat of arms.
Yes,
and I do encourage people to get involved in projects like that would, for instance, take the kids from your neighborhood, from your community, maybe get some pizza, something, you know, to eat, maybe a movie. and talk to them about the coat of arms. Let them try to teach them about the different parts of the coat of arms, what each symbol in there, relates to. That is a wonderful project. Our national song, maybe again something that you could try to learn on your own or try to share that with somebody else. Print off a copy, distribute it, have people in your community recite it. Simple things that makes a big difference for your community and our people, because this is inspired by the Cayman Islands coat of arms, and we don't want people to forget the importance of that.
Okay. We have about 5 minutes left, so I want to give you an opportunity to wrap up everything, cover any area that we haven't covered, or re-emphasize any points.
Yeah, 1st and 2nd of June, Saturday, Sunday. We're not setting times, for people to come out and get things done. You decide your project, you decide the time you want to do it. You have your support. If it's a project that requires tools, you need to supply your own tools. If it's cleanup, you should organize, to remove the garbage or so on that you collected. It's something. It's a project that you must start and complete. It's a way of encouraging people to understand their communities and to recognize that it is everybody's responsibility to do things that are meaningful within their own communities. Is what we trying to inspire and encourage. So, folks, visit the website, celebrateCayman.ky/60acts. See what projects have been registered, and we ask you to sign up to be involved. OC, I want to say, too, that at this stage we are gearing up for the launch of the celebration for the 60th anniversary of our first Constitution.
Yes.
And we know that our first Constitution was given to us on the 4th of July, 1959. Well, I don't know about given to us, but it was it was created, and that was the official launch of the first Constitution, July 4th, 1959. And there are lots of things that are going to be happening with it, and I would say this now, that I would like to ask people to block Saturday, the 29th of June, in the afternoon, as a very special event will be happening. Just block that date for Saturday evening. And then the Monday, the 1st of July holiday, block that morning again for our national event. Not prepared to say what it is yet, but I want you to make note of those 2 dates for right now. Some very exciting things are going to be happening for us, and we want to involve all of our Caymanians, all of our citizens, all of our visitors.
Let's repeat those dates again so people can ensure that they block them out on their calendars.
June 29th, that's a Saturday. Saturday afternoon, I would say you block from 6 till about 10. And on Monday, July 1st, that's a holiday, to reserve that morning for your country. Reserve that morning for a very important national event.
Okay, excellent. And, of course, school will probably be out by then.
School will
be out. So
that's right.
That will free up your time a little bit more. You don't have to worry about taking children off to school or something as well. Well, Mr. Funzo, I want to thank you very much. Want to wish you all the best in your endeavors. We trust that everyone will be involved in the 60 acts and celebrate your Cayman Islands. This is the place you live. Some people will say, and this is the place where we have our being. Some people will say, this is the place where I want to die and I want to be buried as well. This is yours. You want to celebrate it. You want to take part in it. And if you don't and someone else does, then you have no one to blame
That's correct.
but yourself.
Absolutely.
Folks, please stay tuned. We're going to take a break now. We should have folks here with us to discuss Building Safety Month for the next hour here on For the Record. So please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
The National Trust is holding a public information session on the National Conservation Council at 5:30 p.m. at the Family Life Center. Attendees will hear a presentation by the Department of Environment and be allowed to participate in a Q&A panel with the National Trust executive and members of the current National Conservation Council. The big center-right and center-left blocs in the European Parliament have lost their combined majority amid an increase in support for Liberals, the Greens, and Nationalists. Pro-EU parties are still expected to be in majority, but the traditional blocs will need to seek new alliances. The Liberals and Greens had a good night, while Nationalists were victorious in Italy, France, and the UK. It was the highest voter turnout in 20 years. And the French police have arrested 2 men after a suspected parcel bomb exploded in Lyon last week, injuring 13 people. One of the men arrested, a 24-year-old, is a suspected bomber. No details have been given about the other. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music, and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have no guests in the studio at this point in time. Quite possible that I may have gotten everything mixed up, but normally I will confirm appointments, and when there are changes, I usually put those changes in, but we're all human beings, so I may have gotten that wrong as well. But no problem. We have our backup. We have the Tradewinds newspapers, and I have so much to share, so much to share, and I am glad that you are enjoying them as well. I get comments all the time from people who say that they listen, that they watch, and they enjoy what is being shared with them. So we're going to continue with the Tradewinds newspaper of the 29th of May, 1967. And we spoke about spelling bees, and we spoke about the education bursary that was awarded to Miss Carolyn Hislop, who was the head teacher at Savannah Primary School. And she was, that bursary was awarded by the British government to do a one-year course in arts and craft at Breton Hall Training College in the West Riding of Yorkshire, England. Miss Hislop, give you a little bit about herself. Caymanian, graduate of Monique Training College in Jamaica, and she was the head teacher at the Savannah Primary School since 1963. So at least from 1963 to 1967. And in the summer of 1967, she would then be leaving to go take up this bursary during the summer holidays as well. The BRAC was also involved in spelling bee finals, and there's an article here on the BRAC, and it says the annual spelling bee competition between government primary schools was held on Friday night at the secondary modern school before a large crowd. And I spoke, there was another article on that before. It says the contest featured 5 students from each of the 3 government primary schools. 2 students from each school will represent Cayman Brac in the All-Island Spelling Bee contest in Grand Cayman, which will determine the Cayman Islands representative in the children's own newspaper spelling bee and competition in Jamaica. And I will go on to speculate that spelling bee has always been sponsored by the Gleaner and still is. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is the case. The article goes on to say the Cayman Brac champion for the first time is Dave Christian of Spot Bay. The article also goes on to point out that the top 4 contestants were all given presents for their efforts and urged to do their best at the All-Island Spelling Bee Champion, soon to be held in Grand Cayman. The article also goes on to list the past 2 Cayman Islands champions point out that the past 2 Cayman Islands champions have been from the Creek School at Cayman Brac. And those champions, previous champions were namely Marilyn Ebanks in 1965 and Roland Jackson in 1966. There is also a photograph of the top 4 contestants at the Spelling Bee competition. And I mentioned them earlier. I will mention them again. Pamela Connolly, Lucy Walton, Ornell Brown of Creek School, and Dave Christian of Spot Bay. And, we mentioned earlier that article that talked about Dave Christian being the Cayman Brac champion for the first time. Any more news? Let's talk a little bit more about the Brac. The Brac, in 1966, there was also a Commonwealth Parliamentary Association meeting held in the Cayman Islands, and what a welcome the Brac greets CPA, and there's an article and a photograph greeting the visiting parliamentarians upon their arrival at Cayman Brac Gerard Smith Airport. Aboard Cayman Brac Airways DC-3 was the big sound of Cayman Brac, Eddie and the Beach Boys, and there's a photograph of them. There is also one of a grand buffet lunch was served at the Buccaneers Inn Pool to more than 120 invited guests. Mr. Urban Tibbetts Wright, Director of Public Works at Cayman Brac, serves himself at some of the visitors paused to look at what to take next. And then there's another photograph showing at the airport the 23 parliamentarians who visited Cayman Brac met many of the friendly local Cayman Brackers. It's obvious in the picture taken under the wing of the Cayman Brac Airways plane, renewing old acquaintances and sharing a joke. Left to right, Mrs. Jane Dinks and her brother William McLaren. Everybody who knows William McLaren in the Cayman Islands, Billy McLaren. I think he was at one point in time, the late Billy McLaren was also at one point in time a Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries in Jamaica, I believe. And they're having a conversation with the local district commissioner, Mr. Dennis Foster. And this all took place at Mr. Anton Foster's crew of Buccaneers in hostesses served some lovely BRAC food. So CPA group went over to the BRAC, visited them as well. An editorial, and this may be applicable even today. Remember, we talked about the fact that it was Education Week, and here we have an editorial by the Tradewinds newspaper. It starts by saying the organizers of Education Week are to be complimented on the excellent idea well carried through. If there is one single factor which should take precedence in the affairs of this community, it is education. And that fact still obtains today. The Cayman Islands have a great future, and this future lies in the hands of the children now going through our schools. It is quite obvious that in recent years, not nearly enough emphasis has been placed on education, and the result is that standards are lower than most other countries. This does not augur well in a country which is now coming under so much influence from the outside world. Caymanians have to stand shoulder to shoulder with people from abroad and participate fully in the development which is taking place at an ever-increasing pace. And I'm going to pause for a moment there, and I'm going to read that again. Caymanians have to stand shoulder to shoulder with people from abroad and participate fully in the development which is taking place at an ever-increasing pace. If you think the pace was increasing then, the pace is increasing now as well. My question is, are Caymanians standing shoulder to shoulder with people from abroad? Are we participating fully in the development that is taking place in these islands? If we are not participating fully, either because there are obstacles in our way or simply because we are reluctant and we refuse to participate, then that is an indictment on us. That is an indictment on the Cayman Islands, and it should never be allowed to take place. So here we are in 1967 talking about the rapid pace of development and asking the question, are Caymanians able to participate fully? Here we are in 2019, and we're asking the same question. And the question is, have we really progressed? Maybe some have, maybe some haven't. Let's read a little bit more on this editorial. It goes on to say, a better education standard will be achieved only with full awareness of its importance on the part of parents, teachers, and indeed every citizen. For these reasons, the public relations job which Education Week has done is very welcome indeed. So, Education Week, bringing awareness to the importance of education. The editorial goes on to say, we would like to heartily endorse much of what was said this week by Mrs. Isley Connolly, the acting education officer, in her appeal to parents to participate more fully in the education of Caymanian children. She asked, what is education? And answered herself by saying that although it was the traditional book learning of the classroom, education must also be that which makes us, quote, fit to live and fit to live with, unquote, close of quote. She said that we must outgrow the prejudices which have existed for far too long in favor of the academic select few and of the white-collar jobs as opposed to those filled by the vocationally gifted in our midst. And I just want to say something. Someone sent me for the record, a comment in relation to Ms. Isley's remarks that I spoke about earlier, and the questions being raised about parents. I'll actually go back to it and find it. The question that was being raised in relation to whether or not government was wasting money on unruly children. And if you're still listening, can you please resend that? I'll try to retrieve it from my deleted items. For some reason, I accidentally deleted it. But again, I want to read because I think this is extremely instructive. And despite what the article may have pointed out in relation to Mrs. Connolly's comments in relation to unruly children, here she hits the nail right on the head. And I'm going to read it again. She asks, "What is education?" and answered it herself by saying that although it was the traditional book learning, that education was traditional book learning of the classroom, education must also be that which makes us fit to live and fit to live with. She said that we must outgrow the prejudices which have existed for far too long in favor of the academic select few. And there was an academic select few in the Cayman Islands, not only academically selected academically, but also financially and economically as well. There was a select few in the Cayman Islands of the white-collar jobs as opposed to those filled by the vocationally gifted in our midst. And we're seeing the development of the Cayman Islands now, where it is not just a select few that will determine the direction of this country, but also those who are vocationally gifted, skilled vocationally as well. So all and sundry will participate. We're going to take a commercial break now, folks. When we return, our guests are in the studio, and we will be talking about Building Safety Month here in the Cayman Islands. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
They say cleaning your house never killed anyone, but why take chances? Spend your time doing what you love and leave the rest to Roper's Janitorial. Complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential with 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Take back your life and get the job done right the first time. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511.
I remember playing at 7 Mile Beach as a boy, eating mango by the sea, learning how to snorkel. My mother, she worked so hard to provide for our family so that we could have those moments. Seeing her age has been tough. That strong, capable woman, now in need of daily support, it's my time to be strong for her.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of the careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Celebrate Cayman invites you to be part of 60 Acts of Service. Join your countrymen and women June 1st and 2nd as we work together to make the Cayman Islands a better place for all. Volunteer for one of the projects: a building restoration, tree planting, safety programs, beautification initiatives, and many more. Pick a project that appeals to you. No cost is involved. All equipment is provided with refreshments and an appreciation party for all volunteers. Sign up before May 29th to participate in the Celebrate Cayman 60 Acts of Service. Find the projects and register at www.celebratecayman.ky. Celebrate Cayman 60 Acts of Service, June 1st and 2nd. Join your community. Transform your country.
Hello, I'm Joseph Woods, the Acting Port Director. Our port facility is the hub of the Cayman Islands commerce and economic activity, handling $658 million in imported goods annually. From groceries to construction materials, all sectors of our economy depend on the port. But it is now 40 years old. Its infrastructure is degrading, and we feel the strain from insufficient space for both cargo and cruise operations. The time is now. A new expanded port facility is needed to allow both cargo and cruise to operate efficiently and to support our island's continued growth and development. Support the port, support our tourism, support Cayman's continued growth and development.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, it is my pleasure to have Mr. Haroon Pandoy, who is the Director of the Planning Department. Mr. Pandoy, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record. It's been a while, but you've been here before.
Yes, I have. Good morning, and thank you for the invitation.
Okay, I'm gonna start out by reading an article from one of our local newspapers, and talks about the Department of Planning is holding its second annual Building Safety Month this month, the month of May, after marking the international campaign for the first time last year. Throughout the month, the department will be hosting information booths and sessions, giving the public the opportunity to ask questions of staff. The department will also share information on both the government and Ministry of Planning's social media pages as well. Tell us about Building Safety Month. This is the second year that we're celebrating it here in the Cayman Islands, and the reasons for choosing to celebrate Building Safety Month here in the Cayman Islands.
Yes, as you said, this is the second time that we've joined the worldwide initiative to highlight and celebrate Building Safety Month. So the theme of this year's is No Code, No Confidence. And the gist of it is for us to take a step back and, remind ourselves and equally to remind the public of the importance of building codes. Building safety is one of these things where just because it works, a lot of, you find yourself taking it for granted. Mm-hmm. You enter buildings and you're able to walk through safely. Everyone sees the exit signs, fire extinguishers, and it just sort of works. So everyone takes it for granted that, these systems just sort of come about. So it's an opportunity for us to step back and to, as I said, remind everyone of how important it is to ensure that buildings are constructed properly. Whether that's from a prevention of natural disasters, earthquakes, hurricanes, etc., as well as to just overall occupant safety. In the event of a fire, we don't take for we often take for granted things such as fire doors, fire separation walls, etc. Those things that are inherent to a building that doesn't sort of pop out at us. So it's just an opportunity to step back and to highlight the importance of building codes and building safety overall, and to celebrate that.
Excellent. Now, you spoke about the theme, which is no codes, no confidence. Tell us about the building codes of the Cayman Islands, how they're developed, on what standard, what basis do we try to replicate things that are done in other jurisdictions? Do we look at the Cayman Islands in particular, see what has worked here, and what areas we need to improve on?
Okay. So the codes, we use the 2009 international family of codes that are produced by the International Code Council, with some local amendments, mainly to do with things such as, obviously we don't have to concern ourselves, fortunately, with snow loading. So that's adjusted. Plus, the codes are adjusted to take effect given our high seismic, high wind, and low flat terrain that leads us susceptible to storm surges, etc. So the codes are adapted to take into those specialized local conditions and to ensure that the codes do operate for our local standards.
Okay. We've been joined in the studio by Mr. McCleary Frederick, and some of you may be wondering, McCleary, I thought he retired. But he is back with the planning department. Mr. McCleary, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. I retired and I'm back.
Unretired.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you back. It's nice to see you. Tell us what your role now within the planning department.
I came back to assist Haroon with the building control unit. So I'm the deputy director with responsibility for building control. So all of the inspectors and plans examiners and those people fall on as part of my responsibility. Now,
If we can talk more about building safety, the month in particular, but about building safety in the Cayman Islands. As building becomes more complex and we start to take up more challenges, we hear about multi-story buildings and everything else. How important is safety on the job? How important is it, and how important is it to get that across to workers out there, to companies, and for them to assume responsibilities? Where does the responsibility for government lie as opposed to the responsibility of the companies involved as well?
Well, we've been on the road to building safety ever since we adopted the codes to ensure that we have a safe built environment. What the code does for us is provide us all with a document that you can look at, I can look at, contractors will look at, everybody can look at. And we all should see the same thing rather than, I come out one day and I say, I want you to do this, and I come the next day and it's something different. And in addition to building safe, quite a few years back, we embarked on making sure that the workers were safe, and that's actually all done through the Department of Labor, ensuring that guys up on a 5-story building actually have harnesses on so that in the event that they fall, they won't actually hit the ground. But we also try to ensure that the environment where they're working in is as safe as possible. However, the planning department's main focus is on the actual safety involved in the built environment.
Okay. Now, people will look and use Hurricane Ivan as an example when it comes to structures. Now, there are other areas relating to Hurricane Ivan and the flooding, but only a few days ago I was talking to a group of people, and they were pointing out the fact that most of the structures remained in place. Some were may have been destroyed, but most of the structures remain in place, and that spoke volumes in relation to the way that we build here in the Cayman Islands as opposed to other jurisdictions, even sometimes in the, compared to the United States, for instance. But yet we see that you may be making suggestions or regulations in relation for us to be even more robust in terms of our building. What's the reason for that?
Okay. Well, Hurricane Ivan was a good benchmark. And what we found was that for some of the buildings that sustained wind damage, they were pre-code and pre-enforcement of the code. And we actually had a team of experts to come in to do an evaluation after Hurricane Ivan and picked them up and took them around, and one of the things that they said to me was that you guys don't have any damage. And I go, well, you don't see it. And they go, no, for the category storm that you have, we expected a lot worse. And, the report was published, and one of the things that came out of the report was that had it not been for the enforcement of the code, because you can have a code and not enforce it. Had it not been for the enforcement of the code, we would have sustained it much more damage. The good thing about that was, we had a lot of people that came up afterwards that gave the inspectors a hard time during construction. They were very appreciative afterwards for what they had done, in that their house was still standing, the roof was still on, and still had a dry place to go. As things evolve, we can't just sit still. We have to keep evolving with the methods of construction, the different materials of construction, the different types of construction, and ensure that those are still safe, and those and that the inspectors are up to speed and be able to conduct inspections to ensure that if another island comes, there will be more buildings that are less damaged. And from every event, we learn a little bit more, and they change things in the code, that would try to mitigate against future damage. So the code's ever evolving, and our industries are ever evolving. So hopefully, as we move along, new buildings become stronger than the buildings that were done before, and that's to the benefit of the owners of those buildings and the Cayman Islands, for a matter of fact, because the less damage and destruction that we have, the quicker we can get up and go in and move it on.
Okay. Time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation will continue about Building Safety Month. The motto for this year's Building Safety Month, no codes, no confidence. And we're having that discussion with Mr. Haroon Pandui, the Director of Planning, as well as Mr. McCleary Frederick, recently unretired and back working with the planning department as well. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands. Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States.
Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, seaboard.
Money Sense, bringing an informed financial perspective to the Cayman community. Brought to you by the CFA Society Cayman Islands and sponsored by One Trade X. Join Money Sense Thursday at 7:30 a.m. and email your questions to moneysense at Candiwaki. That's money, SENSE at CANDW.KY. Money Sense, the only personal finance radio show in the Cayman Islands. Brought to you with the support of One Trade X.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, we have the Director of Planning, Mr. Haroon Pandoy. Also with us, Mr. McCleary Frederick from the Planning Department as well. We're talking about Building Safety Month here in the Cayman Islands, and I'm going to ask Mr. Pandoy to go over and point out some of the important dates, some of the things that have taken place so far, and those dates that are still key in terms of what will be taking place before the end of the month. Mr. Pandoy.
Yes, so the celebrations have truly been month-long.
Mm-hmm.
So far we've held a number of we've held one training session on specific electrical issues that we've noticed throughout the year during inspections, plan reviews.
Mm-hmm.
We've held a number of booths at the Cox Lumber store, most recently at A.L. Thompson store during the Tool Fest, and this coming Wednesday from 10 to 1, we're going to be at the Kirk Home Center. So I encourage everyone to come out at these booths. Contractors, homeowners, just anyone with a general interest in building safety can get a wealth of information. They can speak to our highly trained and well-qualified staff, and they can become fully educated as to what it is to do construction in the Cayman Islands.
Now, you mentioned this seminar on electrical. Very, very important here in the Cayman Islands. While we don't have as many wood structures in Cayman as in some other jurisdictions, that doesn't detract from the fact that if electrical installation wiring isn't done properly, that you can have disastrous results from that. Can we talk about that a little bit? Because I think it's extremely important, because here in the Cayman Islands we have a lot of electricians. We have some who are qualified. We have some who are not qualified. We have people who can afford a qualified electrician, and there are those who can't afford a qualified, and as a result resort to what some people would call cobblers.
Well, we try to limit those scenarios as much as possible. Actually, if they are doing that, they're going against the law. The law
Mm-hmm.
does say is that in electrical work, you must be licensed as an electrical contractor. And we have various types of license to accommodate the spectrum of persons that are working as electricians. But everybody's afraid of electricity. Yes. Nobody wants to get shocked. And we have a high standard of electrical installation here in the Cayman Islands. And, we've had experts that have come in to do seminars. When they see the level of our electrical installations, they're actually surprised. Mm-hmm. And we strive to maintain that, if not make it better. And hence the reason for doing inspections and licensing the contractors and electricians to ensure that we have qualified people doing installations, and that we check the installations to make sure that the users, as a homeowner or you entering a public building, you're not going to get electrocuted, or when you turn on the light switch, the light will come on and not something else. So the seminar that we had was to try to improve the electrical submissions and the way people do the installations in single-family dwellings and duplexes and townhouses. That's kind of where the focus was in that particular training.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we were trying to emphasize is that you can still meet the code and meet all of the requirements of the code, but you can do it sometimes for much less than what it's costing us now to do it. So we took advantage of that seminar to try to point out some of the ways that you can reduce the cost and maintain the high level of our electrical installations. We go into homes and we see these huge, big panel boxes, and in a lot of cases it's not really necessary. It's just the way that over the years the installers have practiced and do the installation.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of gotten that way, but it meets the code, and the code is just minimum standard. So if you want to go above and beyond that, it's all well and good with us. However, there are ways that you could probably reduce the cost of the installation and still meet the code, and that's one of the things that we were trying to point out and to bring across to the group that attended the training. In addition to that, there are some issues that have been misunderstood over the years, and the attempt was made to try to clarify some of those, and in addition to some new issues that might be coming up. So that was the whole intent of the training, and like I said, we tried to maintain a high level of our electrical installation for the safety of all the users.
Okay, we have one caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, concerning the tower that Dart has mentioned, if the government gives them permission to build this tower, how many floors will they be allowed to go, and what type of area will they have to build this tower that in case of an earthquake it doesn't fall on other buildings, as you all were mentioning just now concerning a 5-story building not collapsing to the ground? What type of area will this tower have to be built in order to build what seems to be over 100 floors that they want to do? Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Gentlemen?
Yeah. Okay, I'll start with that discussion. So currently, the regulations limit building heights to 10 stories. Mm-hmm. And, we all are aware of the ongoing discussions. But in terms of the building code being truly an international document, can accommodate buildings of untold heights, pretty much. So once you cross the 75-foot threshold, you're into high-rise construction, which brings in, and I think it's important to sort of back up and appreciate that what the building codes try to do, especially with these high-rise buildings, is to ensure that the building can protect itself, that the building is structurally sound, mm-hmm. that it has the necessary fire protection components to it, and that it ensures that the occupants who are in that building are kept safe. And again, components that go into formulating building codes in the applications of the various structural components it looks at wind loading, it looks at seismic activity, it looks at soil conditions. So all of that is information that goes into the building code. So the building code, if you think of it as having these multiple components to it that you plug all this information into, and then following a very detailed and a very prescriptive and a very true and tested method, you then determine at what the parameters are for that building, and then you can build the various systems around that.
Okay. Now, since Wednesday, the 29th, is the last day in terms of the activities in celebrating the month, and you mentioned earlier that on Wednesday at Kirkholme Center, between 10 and 1, you will have an information booth set up. Could we focus more then on the department itself, some of the policies and procedures that you have put in place to help to accommodate builders, to help to accommodate home owners because of the huge demand that is being placed on the planning department now because of the high economic activity that is taking place in the Cayman Islands. I'll preview that for after we come back from the commercial break. But before we go to the commercial break, can you respond to those persons who talk about the taller buildings and the fact that we don't have fire trucks, fire services that can reach those? And you spoke earlier about the fact of having buildings that can control, basically maintain themselves, because I think that's instructive in terms of, why you don't need fire trucks and why no country has any fire trucks that will, go to the 100th floor.
Yeah. Like you said, there's nobody that has a fire truck that can service a skyscraper.
Mm-hmm.
That is why the systems are built into it.
Mm-hmm.
Sprinkler systems, standpipes that they can put their pumper truck to pump water in to get to the 100th floor when they get up there with a hose.
Mm-hmm.
Also to have hose in place so that they don't have to drag a hose up 100 floors. So these are some of the provisions that are put in place to ensure that the occupants of any multi-story building is protected. I mean, even our buildings here, 10 stories, they have to have their systems in place to protect the people, because if a fire started, it's going to be going for some time before the fire truck can get there.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to have these things in place to protect the building and the occupants. Most of the fire safety stuff is to protect the occupants. And whether it's 10 stories or 100 stories, they have to put these systems in place. They have to have system in place so that if you're in a wheelchair, that you will be protected until somebody can come and get you out. They have system in place that if a fire alarm goes off, that everybody is notified more than one means, and that fire sprinklers come on and do their job. They have to be sprinkled. They have to have all of these systems in place. So this is what Harun was referring to just now about all the different components that go into the building to ensure that it is a safe environment. I can't speak to what we plan to do in terms of number of stories. Right now it's 10 stories.
Yep.
Until it changes, 10 stories.
Yep.
So, we can talk about it as much as you want about going 100 stories or 200 stories, but for right now, it is 10 stories. And that's what we're dealing with until it changes.
And when it changes, then you'll be...
when it changes, they will then have to comply with the code for that type of building, which would then require them to put all of this additional stuff in to ensure that the safety of the occupants of the building.
Okay. That's a good point for us to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation will continue with Mr. Harun Pandui and Mr. McClare Frederick. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
How would you like to drive off in a brand new 2019 all-white Mercedes-Benz CLA 250? On Saturday, June 1st at Mango Tree, you could be that lucky person. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman presents its annual charity fundraising event, Benzorama 2019. That's right, one lucky winner will be announced at the Mango Tree on Saturday, June 1st, and that lucky winner could be you.
If you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance.
Tickets are $25 each, or 5 tickets for only $100. Proceeds from the funds raised go towards various Lions community projects. Tickets can be purchased online at eventpro.ky, or stop by one of our ticket outlets, including Radio Cayman Studios, Funky Tangs, South Coast Bar, Reflections Food for Less, and West Bay Road SO, or can be purchased from any of our active Lions community members. Benzorama 2019. We are all winners once you support the Lions and our community.
These are our kids, and just like your kids, it seems that what we tell them goes through one ear and come out the other. But guess what? When it comes to making tough decisions like whether or not to drink, note that kids say that parents have the biggest influence more than anyone. So talk to your kids. Let's work together to stop underage drinking before it starts. This message is brought to you by Radio Cayman and the National Drug Council.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record. with Orrett Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show this morning, the discussion. We're talking about Building Safety Month here in the Cayman Islands with the Director of Planning, Mr. Harun Pandu, and Mr. McCleary Frederick. One more date for the events taking place, and that's on the Wednesday the 29th of May. And they will have an information booth located at Kirk Home Center. So we're talking more about the Department of Planning itself, its interaction with the public, and we're going to talk about some of those policies and procedures that have been put in place to assist people, to demonstrate to people that the Planning Department is there to assist and not to hinder people from doing things, but to assist in ensuring that they're done the proper, the right way, and that they're up to code as well. Gentlemen.
Yes, sir. So, everyone can look around and see the level of development that's currently, going on the island, and appreciates the fact that development is a key driver of the economic success of the Cayman Islands. So as a department, for us, it's key to ensure compliance, but it's also key that we drive and we do we conduct our business as effectively and as efficiently as possible. So over the course of the past couple of years, we've done a number of initiatives. The first one being we've launched our online planning system. Mm-hmm. So all of the interactions with the department can occur via our online platform. So applying for permits, applying for planning permission, making payments, basically all of the services. So we're open 24/7. It has removed the need for us to move a tremendous amount of paper back and forth. I'm sure everyone can attest to that occasional document sort of being, temporarily misplaced.
Yes.
So, we no longer have to account, to deal with that. So we've introduced a lot of electronic workflow management in terms of how an application would move from one stage to the next. Key to that, we've introduced electronic tracking. So through a series of emails. So you no longer have to call the department to say, well, where's my application? I was told it was submitted on this date. What's happening next? There's a series of emails. So anytime anything happens on your file, an email is generated. So that's sent to the owner, to the agent, an applicant if that's different. So they're fully informed. And that was, for us, it was key to have transparency of the system. We wanted to ensure that, everyone knew along the way where that application is. Because we do appreciate that, building a home, or undertaking a business is one of the largest, most costly investments that anyone will make in their lifetime. So we wanted to make sure that we had a process that, as I said, was compliant, because we want to make sure that, when you take ownership of that house, that you know that it's safe and that it's up to the necessary standards. But we deliver that service to you as effectively and efficiently as possible, and that we're fully transparent along the way, so that no matter what time, no matter what day it is, exactly where your application is in the process. So that's sort of on the operational side. We've hosted a number of training sessions as well, both internally and externally, because we truly believe that it's a partnership. It's no good, us having all these highly trained inspectors, plans examiners, if we're not sharing that knowledge with the industry. And we want to make sure that knowledge is readily available and easily accessible for all industry participants. So that's where we have a number of training courses. We have a number of links on our website. I encourage everyone to visit our website, planning.ky, which has a wealth of information. It has a number of checklists, local amendment codes, some documents to help persons, assist them through the application process. We've got a number of flowcharts, so you know exactly which inspection do I need at what point in time, and then you can plan your job accordingly. So again, for us, it's about transparency. Another thing we've introduced is the third-party review service. We've got currently 2 providers in the private sector. So persons, due to timing issues or, needing to get their projects through quicker than we're able to do on our normal processing time frames, can go out to these third-party entities, these 2 private companies. Mm-hmm. They would then review the plans for code compliance. They then submit to us a report indicating and attesting that, based on their reviews, they're certifying that the plans have met the necessary code requirements. And again, we're able then just to do a rudimentary, quality control check, a quality assurance check rather, and then move those through the system in a number of days versus our standard review time frames.
Okay. What has anything changed in relation to a single homeowner, a homeowner who wants to build a house? Has anything changed from the standard way that we did things? You went and you found a contractor, or you may have had a group of people together who decide, well, I'm going to donate work for this person on this day. I'm going to help them to build their house. Later on, they're going to help me to build mine. Have the dynamics changed in terms of building in the Cayman Islands for the quote-unquote ordinary person?
Okay. As it relates to single-family homes, not a lot has changed. Okay. There have been some enhancements, mainly to do with issues such as hurricane windborne debris protection. So making sure that you have some type of impact protection, whether that's shutters or impact-rated windows and doors. Because, again, one of the things that's sort of often overlooked is, we build structures, we make sure we have enough steel and rebar in our walls, hurricane straps to make sure that our roofs stay on. But a lot is that sort of weak link. And that's where we want to make sure that, we suss out and deal with those weak links. So if you lose a window, you lose a door, that gives an entryway into the structure for that differential in pressure that causes roofs to fail. So we want to make sure that, we're not giving anyone a false sense of security, and that we're making sure that, because again, buildings are systems. Your doors, your windows, your walls, your roof, your air conditioning system, smoke detectors, exhaust fans, it all comes together. And if you're missing a component of that, that's where you start to have building failures.
That's important.
In terms of the actual construction, you can still get your friends together and go out and build your home. But there's a few things that you need to do first.
Okay.
First of all, you get planning permission.
Yes.
You just can't go out and start building. Then you need to get a building permit. Once you've got those, you can do your construction. If you know somebody that does mason work and want to come help you out, you can do that. That's fine.
But do you have to have a contractor, a general contractor, to do that, to start?
I don't see where that is absolutely totally necessary if you're building your own home and you have the skills and the knowledge to build your own home, where you need to go get a contractor. But one of the key things then is that you have to request the inspection so that we do come out and check to make sure that what you're doing meets the code requirements. Right. So you still have to go through all the steps of getting permission, getting approval, getting plans submitted, and all of that. And then during the construction stage, then the inspectors will come out to ensure that it is done and it is it meets the code requirements. One of the issues you may have with somebody trying to do their own home is the expiration of their building permit.
Yes.
Because if you let it sit for a while and you don't do anything on the home, then eventually the building permit will expire and you have to ask for a renewal or an extension of your building permit. So we have a mechanism in place where if your building permit's about to expire, you haven't done anything since you put the walls up because you're saving up to put the roof on, and your building permit's about to expire, and there's always an expiration date on the permit, so you know when it's going to happen. You can come into the department and ask for an extension.
How long does the building permit last?
The initial building permit is a year.
Okay.
And then you can get extensions after that, and usually like 2 extensions they'll grant before, But when you get your inspections actually keep extending the permit. So if you got an inspection on your roof and, another 3-4 months you got no inspections, you came out and said, okay, I need inspections on my electrical system, and you got that inspection, it keeps the permit rolling along as long as you continue to get inspections. But if you go for more than 6 months without getting an inspection, your permit will lapse. So that is one of the things that for somebody that's trying to do their own home, they need they need to keep in the back of their mind is that, you know, if I'm not making good progress or regular progress, then there may come a time when my building permit is expired, and then they'll have to come back then and apply to have their permit renewed.
Yeah. One of the topics that is always, I shouldn't say always, but sometimes discussed, is rogue contractors, those who take people's money and not complete the work. Any legislation that is in place or being proposed to deal with that, and how do we tell the public about that? How do we advise people in terms of when you're choosing a contractor what to look for? Whether or not that's the responsibility of the planning department, I'm not sure, but I'm sure that any assistance people can get, any advice, they would certainly welcome it.
Yes, so we've got the, many people may be familiar with the builder's law and subsequent regulations. So the basis of that legislation is to ensure that contractors are registered and that they're registered in a category based on their demonstrated level of competency. And just to the earlier point, there is provision in the law for persons, you know, seeking to build their own homes, fundamentally to act as their own contractors, to be licensed or to be granted an exemption as such from the licensing regime to be able to act as your own contractor on your own house. You know, once you can demonstrate that you have the necessary skills. So, because again, there's two parts to this. We want to make sure that, you know, persons who are holding themselves out as contractors, who are entering into contracts, have the necessary competencies and the necessary wherewithal to actually execute that contract. You know, many of us would know, you know, an individual who's gone and contracted and paid large sums of money to individuals to build a home, you know, for them. And it's usually, you know, those in society who can least afford it not to have that product delivered. But then they're still stuck with the expense, but they don't have a roof over their heads to live. So again, it's making sure that by entering into that contract, one, you're competent, and two, you have the necessary wherewithal to actually execute and complete that contract so that it protects both parties.
Okay. Time has sneaked up on us just like that, but I want to give you an opportunity for some final comments and just to remind the public of the final day, the 29th, and what will take place there, where your booth will be established.
Yes, so encourage the public to come out this Wednesday, May 29th, from 10 to 1 p.m. at the Kirk's Home Center. The department will have a booth there with a wealth of information, plus some very nice giveaways, you know, to celebrate Building Safety Month and to highlight the key and important role that building codes play in making sure that we're all safe.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here, Mr. McClure. Good luck on your retirement.
Yeah, I know a lot of people know me from hazard management because I spent a lot of time on TV and radio as a result of that job. But what a lot of people don't remember is I put 20 years in planning and building control unit before going over to hazard management. So it's like going back home. Yep. I told them it's like putting on that old coat that you had in the closet from way back when and surprised that it still fits. It's the same, and you know, building safety. While we emphasize Building Safety Month, building safety is our focus all year round.
Yes.
And you know, it is something like building safety is everybody's business because it affects everybody. Every time that you go in a building, every time that you go sleep in your home or you're doing stuff around your home, you know, we do what we do to ensure that it is safe for you and that you have no issues.
Okay, thank you very much, and I'm sure that the department is benefiting immensely from your wealth of knowledge as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. I also want to remind you that we are brothers and sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dweeney-Bikes at 12:15 for Talk today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine. With over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. And Roper's Janitorial. Complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.